Hi, my name is Liza, and today we are going to be tackling a topic that has not been tackled. Really, I've been searching for it, like literally the whole week. Sorry. We're going to be talking about the Kenyan fashion from the 80s, 90s there. So we are going to be recapping the Kenyan fashions, the 80s and 90s, and we're going to be recreating it. It will have a little bit of injection of the modern parts, that because some of the fashion has come back. But yes, that's what you're going to be dealing with, to add to the Kenyan fashion and to document it. For that, if you haven't subscribed, please make sure you subscribe. I do styling videos every 2 weeks. On Tuesday I post it, and join the family. We do styling videos and we love styling. Want to fashion this out. So with that, let's get into the video. On the first one, you remember the spaghetti tops and the vintage looking trousers, really wide legged pants, because the Kenyan fashion in the 80s and 90s did not really focus on the tightness of the outfits. So that is what the first look captures: the vintage vibe, spaghetti top, a bit of color, because they were very, very colorful. And yes, this is my take on the first one. And on the second look, this is more of a 90 vibe. Do you remember not really, the one that we're calling Goma right now? The olden days, they used to be for people who are from the up country, and then they used to wear rubbers. And then this shirt, of course, used to be worn mostly by men and old shoshos, old grandmas. That's what I mean. And then the trouser. Remember, don't touch my shoes, those kind of terms. 3/4. This is what it is inspired by. And yes, voila, this is a 90s vibe. And we're on the third look. This one is more bell bottom, currently called bell bottom, but we know it as hipster. It's not very defined. That, of course, it used to be very tight on the waist, on the hips region, and then flared at the bottom, so it's a flared pants or hipster. This one, I think it was there in the 90s. I don't know if it was there in the 80s. I honestly don't know. I went down the rabbit hole of searching what musicians were wearing during that time. So yes. And on this one, literally what the ladies of that time used to wear. It cannot be above the knee. It should not be above the knee. It was mostly below the knee because of decency of that time. A lady should be covered. The clothes wasn't supposed to be so tight. So yes, basically it was supposed to be a loose fitting dress, and this was my take on it. So I hope I represented them well with rubbers. I'm sorry. And I don't know, I think it's the fifth. T-shirts have always been in fashion from the 80s till the 90s, and pleated skirts. So I don't know, this is not only for, is it for Corino? But it used to be worn by from school girls to mamas to grandmas. So yes, this is my take on the 80s fashion. The next one, this one's spanned around the 80s to the 90s. The vintage skirt, mostly worn by mothers, but nowadays worn by every lady, from young to old, to my grandma, to my mama, to me. And we are on the next one. This one was supposed to be a tumbo cut. Literally nowadays it's called a crop top. It's not very defined. This is the high-waisted trousers. Now in the 80s there was a lot of plaid going on, checked plaid, whatever you prefer. This is my interpretation of the 80s. And if you notice on this last look, if you notice well, the 80s, 90s, and possibly 70s. I am not sure about the 70s. They were very rich in colors, and they used to be like a lot of mix and match, a lot of matching patterns, and honestly it was so loud and to your face kind of look, and those are the kind of looks that are coming back now. So this one is my interpretation of the 80s fashion. A lot of gingham or checked or plaid or whatever you will, but this is more of checked, and vintage shirt. This is literally very vintage. Currently, if you want to wear this kind of look, you may just tie it at the knot, because we care so much about our shape and we like to define it. So yeah. And that's all I have for you today. This is going to be part 1. I am going to reach out to more people to get their interpretation of the vintage or the 80s and 90s Kenyan fashion, because I have not covered things like bandana, I have not covered the diras and the different areas of Kenya and what they were wearing. So I'll reach out to my friends and I'll reach out to people on social media to cover those. If you agree with my take of the 80s and 90s fashion, please comment on the comment section. If you do not agree and you think I have modernized it a little bit, also correct me and keep me in check. But if you've noticed, most of their fashions are coming back into season, and some of it, the vintage vibe is now being called the OD looks, and most young people are embracing this kind of look, which is a really good thing. And for that, I'm going to end my video, and until next time, always have good intention, and remember, you are born to fashion this world. So peace out.